Alright guys, I usually don't cover modern politics on this channel because I feel like people's emotions and opinions get invested in it a little bit too much. However, I got a request to do a video along the lines of the resignation of our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. So I felt like doing this one because it came to my mind first. How poorly the Conservative Party has reacted to the resignation. When I first heard of the resignation, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit happy. But now I'm feeling even better, to be honest. I'm feeling better about the chances of the Liberal Party beating the Conservatives. I'll say this now, I'm not a fan of Pierre Poilievre, and I really hope he does not become our Prime Minister later in the year. And I feel like that's the majority of Canadian opinions on him right now. And I feel like that's the case because more and more polling has come in where the Conservatives are only holding up the Liberals by single digits. Now, compare this to before Trudeau announced he was coming out in November or December, where the Conservatives were winning by 20 points, easily. So, something went wrong. And I do think that something did go wrong because I think most people think that the new Liberal leadership leader will be Mark Carney. I believe that people think that. And I think so too. And I think when people are asked the question who you're going to vote for, Mark Carney is who they're thinking is the Liberal leader. So they vote Mark Carney. They're going to say, I'm going to vote for the Liberal Party. Because Mark Carney is a popular guy. Alright, he may not be the most politically experienced guy, but he is the more popular person. He's the most popular out of all 7 running in the Liberal leadership race. There's no denying that. And Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party have done a horrendous job at portraying Carney as bad. And I believe this strongly. Pierre Poilievre, on January 6th, when Trudeau resigned, was very sick. He held a press conference with half of his face looking like he just woke up, and the other half looking like a poorly done makeup job, where he then attacked every Liberal Party person who expressed interest in running, calling them carbon tax this, carbon tax that. He called the Premier of the British Columbia, the Premier of British Columbia, or former Premier, Christy Clark, he called her the Queen of the Carbon Tax, when in fact she opposed the carbon tax. And the Conservatives now need a reason to attract voters to their side. Because we know, both of us know, don't even lie, those people from before were not voting for Pierre Poilievre, they were voting against Justin Trudeau. And now that Justin Trudeau is no longer the guy who they can take their anger out, they're not going to support Pierre. They're going to support a younger, or maybe not younger, any guy, really. Pierre Poilievre is pretty young. Maybe a guy who's not a career politician, like Mark Carney. Someone who does have economic experience, like Mark Carney, when the economy is apparently bad. I can't say that it's good, I can't say that it's bad, so I'm not gonna say you're wrong for thinking it's bad. Mark Carney has economic experience. There is definitive proof of him helping the British economy when he was the governor of the Bank of England. But a lot of people are gonna say, he lived in England, so I'm not gonna vote for him. When I don't think that's completely fair. Because if you're gonna wanna run for Prime Minister of Canada and you wanna live in another country for 9 years, it should be England. Because we are technically British. We are part of the British Commonwealth, which is an even bigger motive for some people to vote for Mark Carney as opposed to Pierre Poilievre, who, let's be honest, did not have the best economic policies. During the pandemic, he did not want to send families any money to help them and with their struggles. Then he started liking it, and then afterwards they said it was too much. Pierre Poilievre said it was too much. So he's definitely only going on the side of business people and the people that will support him. He is not a Canadian, or he's a Canadian. Well, he doesn't support Canadians. And that's why I think most people are realizing that, and they're voting for the Liberals, or I'm not even going to say NDP. No one wants to vote for the NDP right now. But people, they're going to think Liberal, they're going to think Trudeau. So that's why I think the Conservatives will eventually end up winning. Maybe it will not be a majority government, because these polls on 338 Canada show Pierre Poilievre with this huge lead in the House of Commons, upwards of like 240. It used to be 240 seats, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And I don't think so. I think the Liberals get, at the very worst, 50 seats. With Justin Trudeau, could have been worse. So I think Trudeau stepping out of the way was ultimately the right decision. And Pierre Poilievre is having a hard time adapting to that. Pierre Poilievre is having a hard time expressing why people should vote for him. And Mark Carney is doing a good job of portraying him as a villain, as a career politician. And as he's doing a good job of portraying him, Mark Carney himself, as the insider, or not the insider, well, the outsider who doesn't have experience, but he as an insider in economics, which is what a lot of people want. So I think overall, a lot of people are going to tend to want to vote for that. And that's why I do think that the Conservatives have done a really poor job at expressing their beliefs and expressing why people should vote for them. So, yeah. If you want me to not cover modern politics, I get you there. But I had to do this because I got a request, and I don't want to make that person mad. You better like this video. I'm talking to you, of course.